Hello, hello. Hey, whoa. Hey, Alice. I'm just setting up. All right. How y'all doing today? I feel like 9 a.m. has been like a really good time for just my creative rhythm. Like it's enough time for me to get uh, you know, chores and things out of the way after I wake up, and then by that point I'm like, okay, time to draw. Good morning, good morning. How you guys doing? Hi, Fox. Welcome back. How are you this morning? Hi, Punisher. All right, let me all right. Waiting for water to heat up. You know what I have first thing this morning? Okay, so Olipop released a new flavor and not sponsored. Wish I was one day. Uh, orange cream. It's so good. It's so good. I was so previously my favorite was banana, but I think orange cream might be my new one, my new favorite. Hi, Rip. So I don't technically have a schedule. I've just kind of been streaming when I feel like it and when I'm available. There's probably a good chance that I will be on most mornings, but I also don't want to make any promises just in case, like, I don't know, just in case something comes up or, I'm not feeling like drawing or whatever. I can't anticipate that happening, but, you know. Aren't you glad you got that soda? I'm very glad. Yeah. Also, funny enough, the piece I'm working on today is also the orange one. So, orange. I can't tell if that little snort you just did was judgment or actual actual thinking I was funny. Orange. Yeah. All right. So I will be like yesterday, I will be doing another group mentoring session. So if you guys have any questions about art, any struggles or challenges that you're going through, I'm happy to answer them. I'll be working on the abstract series while we hang out. I feel like I'm a little sleepier this morning, so bear with me if I'm still waking up, I guess. I'm usually up by 7, but I kind of do that thing where we like pitter patter around until, you know, stream time. And yeah, I'm not like fully awake. How's everybody doing this morning? What are you guys working on? What are your goals for the week? Oh, it's Tuesday, isn't it? It's not Monday. Why did I think it was Monday? Tuesday, ain't it? Tuesday. Hang on one sec. There we go. There we go. All right. Think we got ads out of the way for the next hour. Y'all might still be in them, but shouldn't have any more. Oops. Oh, hey, Wolfga. Thank you. How are you this morning? Again, anyone coming through, let me know if you have anything you want to talk about today. We're doing group mentoring while I hang out and work on my abstract stuff. So, any questions about art block, anything you're going through, comparison, if you're struggling to show up for drawing or motivation to draw? I'm glad to hear it, Wolfka. Struggle with making time. Wolfka, does it feel a bit like you've got too much going on and you're trying to fit the art in with everything else? Hi, Yearning. Goals to practice more figure drawing and to finish my air balloon sculpture. By the way, love your abstract work. Colors you chose is quite pretty. Oh, thank you. These actually, so these ones that I've been working on, the colors and the shapes were chosen by Stream, so I can't take any credit. But I will say these were all the colors that I had available, so maybe that maybe it was a little bit of me. But yeah, Stream chose these. So this is the interactive stream series that we started on the weekend, and I've just been doing the abstract drawing on top. At the end of the series, I'll give it away to somebody in chat as well, so you'll get all 4 pieces. I don't yet know how I'm gonna host the giveaway, or if there's any requirements. I'm still thinking on that, but I'll say it likely has to be in Twitch chat when the giveaway happens. But other than that, yeah, I'm not sure about any requirements. Back from ads. Yeah, we have the ads in the beginning. I'm sorry about that, guys. We won't have any for an hour. Orange and yellow one would be cool to call Soda Pop. I love it. My little soda pop. How you doing today, Kobu? Yearning, are you doing a live drawing class, or are you using like application online, or just some references that you found? I have 2 small children. Please forgive my sporadic chatting. Oh, no worries. You're good, Fox. Howard Lee, I'm doing pretty good. A little sleepy this morning, but waking up. I'm thinking I'll probably finish this series today, and then I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to work on next. Maybe I'll just do something in my sketchbook, or could start another project. I'm not really sure. I haven't thought about it. There's a big project that I was working on. I think I mentioned a few streams ago, where it's like it's a huge roll of paper, so it's like 10 yards long, so it's basically a mural. And I wanted to work on that today, but I need to figure out how I want to set it up for stream, because it's massive and I'm like working on it in chunks. So I thought about working on that today, but I think the setup was just a little bit too much for my sleepy mind to do this morning. Pigeon Girl, Orca Girl. I think it could be really fun to revisit Damon and Amaris again. Waiting for the series to come back? I love to hear it. Yeah, one day. Hi, Noad. Welcome back. How are you this morning? The gemstone series was really fun. The thing about that is I have so many stones that I want to do. And it's always kind of in the back of my mind. Like every time I see a crystal, I'm always like, "Ooh, that should become a painting," or "Ooh, I have an idea for this." So it's still there. I think it's like I don't know. I'm just really just doing it. I think. Okay. If y'all had another crystal girl in mind, what would the next crystal girl be? Or an animal for Damon and Amaris. If there was an animal that I was going to use as inspiration for my next character illustration, which animal should I do? Definitely feeling better than yesterday for sure. How are you still? I'm doing really good. Really good this morning. I'm excited to finish the series. Um, I mean, it's a smaller one, but I don't know what to call it yet either. Fluorite for crystal, pigeon for animal. I don't know if I've ever seen fluorite. Time to Google. But also, yes, pigeon. Ooh, this one's cool. It's got like some striping patterning in it. It's very colorful. Did you do objectively the best one, Obsidian, yet? I did do Obsidian. Actually, here, I'll show you Obsidian. Uh, oops. Hang on. So, Muck, this is what I did for Obsidian. Her name's Verena. Ooh, Moonstone. I don't think I did Moonstone. Dry lady from D&D who they worship as the moon goddess maiden. She fights with a sword and sings. I'm so down. Lines look so precise. Good to look at. Thank you, Noed. Yeah, Verena was she was one of the favorites that I did. Not that I should really be picking favorites, but I really enjoyed her. I feel like the design came out exactly as I imagined it, and I really enjoyed the process. I think it was one of the ones that God, I think I put like 30 something hours into that one. It was intense. Hi, Yosef. How are you? Moonstone would be fun though. Moonstone's one of my favorite crystals as well. That one and fluorite. I did a piece for fluorite already, but I really love fluorite. I'm good, Yosef. Doing good. I'm excited to be here working on some abstract art. I'm also still doing the group mentoring stuff. So if you guys have any questions or any topics you want to talk about, I also tweeted about something this morning that I think is a really interesting topic. Um, I think when it comes to defining success as an artist, I'm curious what all of you would say a successful artist looks like. How do you define successful creativity? What? Hi. Hi. It is a very difficult question to answer. I think I guess from my perspective, I like to think of successful creativity as somebody who allows themselves to follow their highest joy when it comes to creating. And so they aren't influenced by shame or guilt. You know, they allow themselves to create based on what it is that they love. And I think a lot of people equate the success to money, but I actually feel like money is a result of doing this. So I think people who follow that passion and they do so without, allowing others to influence their decisions. I think money follows, but we mistakenly think that people who make money are successful because they're making money. But that is a result of following your passion, of putting yourself out there, of really leaning into who it is that you are and being being that version of you, that creative person. Knox said some people might feel success if art pays their living, but for me, it is creating something that I'm proud of. I love that, Knox. So I don't intend on pursuing any form of monetary gain for my art. Success will be when I can translate what's in my mind's eye into a tangible piece. All right, I think that's valid. Also, I don't think that there's necessarily any right or wrong answer here, but I do think that a lot of people equate success to purely money, and I don't believe that that's true. I just think money is an outcome. But our society puts a lot of weight on success as making money. And I think that can be kind of damaging to creativity. And, we're always going to make different decisions, different creative decisions based on, trying to make money from it and we're not, we might not pursue something that we really enjoy, which could be the avenue where that money could come from. Hi, Green. Thank you. How are you doing? Money can be the one of the outcomes of art, not the only one. Like people who refuse to give their art to others, only something to make them feel fulfilled. Yeah, I think so too. Success is the amount of cat trees you can own. Okay, so we have two cat trees. What does that say about us? Ooh. Ooh. We're not doing so good. I think we need another cat tree. I'm doing good, Ukraine. Thank you for coming in. Ooh, it's warm in here. Did it get warm? Did we? Can you check the AC again? Our AC like went out a couple.
Lemon.
Thank God it was like when it was a cooler day because it just completely stopped. Like it just wasn't working. Um, Oh, so now every time it gets a little bit hot in here, I'm like, is the AC out again? Lenny, you're not supposed to be in here. Come here. You want to say hi to chat? Come here. No, she's not gonna. Let me know. Thankfully, it's fixed now, but it was not fun, especially in the summer heat. Is it good? 69. Hi, Vic. How are you? Oh, man. Our thermostat is at 69 now, in case you were wondering. Did you see Kobu said hello background voice? Yeah, all they hear is me saying 69. Oh, yeah. Is that 20 Celsius? I mean, something roughly. Yeah. 69. I need to grow up. Lovely temperature. Wish it was around 20 degrees here too. It's around 30 and I'm dying. Oh, it's definitely hotter outside. Um, I'm blessed with the AC, but I mean, when Nexie and I were in London and it was, I mean, why did you laugh? Why did you laugh like that? Oh, yeah, I guess like when we were in London, it was really hot. That's so hard to bear without the AC. 30 inside. Ugh. Outside was 40. Oh my God. Ukraine, where are you from? Vic, I'm working on some abstract pieces. So I started these with chat. Chat chose the colors and the shapes, and I am working out the lines. I haven't worked on this one yet. This is just colors and shapes, but feel like I live in hell. Oh my God. In those temperatures, I could see it. That's awful. Oh my gosh. You know, LS, I feel like that's pretty tame. Yeah, it's pretty tame. It's, in the States, I feel like it's so much easier to deal with just because of the AC, but I know not everywhere utilizes AC. Can't breathe or sleep without it. Oh, with AC, yeah. Is it really humid as well? The humidity kills me. The one you did that looks like a burb, its head reminds me of the creature from a game called Shadow of the Colossus. I love that game. I'm trying to think of is it the which boss was it? God, it's been so long. Was there a flying boss? Is that the one? God, I'm like really pulling at my memory because it's been so many years since I've played. Yep. Yep, I think I remember it. Yeah. You just a chicken. Hey Navarro, how are you? Hi Lunar. Morning, morning. How's your day going so far? Day's going good. I'm glad to hear it. I am, for those of you just coming through, I am doing a group mentorship discussion today. So if you guys have any topics you want to touch on, or you're going through anything with your creativity, like art block, imposter syndrome, struggling with motivation, anything like that, I'd love to talk about it today. And I'm just going to be working on my abstract stuff in between. So no pressure to chit chat. You're more than welcome to just hang out, draw along, or just vibe. Did you turn your music off? Oh, okay. You're still using Patreon? So Kobo, it's kind of on like unofficial hiatus. Like I haven't posted any content there, but I'm still making stuff and I would like to I'm kind of like brainstorming how I would like to use it because I felt like before it wasn't quite I don't know, I felt like I was missing something. So it's still there and obviously as you can see I'm still making art. I just haven't posted in some time. Um, so, I mean, I'm hoping to give it life again at some point, but there's still like tons of content on there. There's like almost 10 years of content on there. At the moment, I think just because I'm not doing too much with it, I'm going to say if you want to support in any way, then I would do so like I would do it in a way where you get something back from it, like either joining my portrait boot camp, mentorship stuff, any of the like resources that I have for sale, or subscribing to the channel, like something that you're gonna get something back from it. Because right now, I'm not really doing much with Patreon or the figurine. We've got Dayanora. I fixed her arm. It broke yesterday. To be fair, Lenny broke it. Well, I mean, I broke it this time, but Lenny broke it initially. But also, like stuff like this, where have got a figurine, you can actually get something for spending the money. Um, yeah. Support by asking Olipop to sponsor Sill. Olipop, please notice me. Listen to this. I will do that every day for the rest of my life, Olipop. Hi, Soda. Need something to watch while I work. Hair's looking great still. Thank you, Soda. How are you today? How's work going? I think we should bring Letty to defend herself at court. I think we should. I think this is unfair. Our accusations are unfair. Lentil L. Lentilson versus Dayanora. Who will win in the battle of... I was going to say babes. Who will babe in the battle of kitties? One day, when kitties take over, Lentil goes to court. Did you? Still haven't figured out what I want to do with the eggy bit. And I've also... I also thought about maybe doing, because like right now all of the squigglies kind of go in this direction. I'm thinking, what if I do like an opposite squiggly? Oh no, you green? I think it's funny because I was doing a goofy voice. Soda, that's rude. I don't think he's seen it yet. Then overall, okay, okay. Just a trad wife. Go make me some pancakes while you're in there from scratch. Oh no, Luna. Wait, is Lenny still in here? Okay. You're on a beer while you're watching the game. I feel like the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack is just on literal repeat in my head. Like I can't turn it off. Uh, I'm literally I'm like just constantly. I'm trying to like calm it down, but it's just not working. But also I don't want to subject anyone to my nonsensical singing on stream. All right, so I have an idea. I have an idea. I might regret this, but I'm just gonna do it. Was that Lenny or Luna? It sounded like Luna. Hmm. You're sleepy? Wait, we just woke up. What do you mean? You can't be sleepy yet. No. Meow. Yzma, it's okay. You can you can probably let them in because I'm not using any paints today, so. Hi, baby. Yzma. Come here, honey. I know. It's so sad when you can't come in the office. I know. Come here. Are you gonna be good? Come here. Let me see if I can get her up. Where are you going? How will the schedule of the streams work once you finish this group of abstract works? So I don't know. Like I said earlier, I'm not really 100% sure which project I'm going to work on next. I have, so like, I have that painting. I don't know if you can hear me. I have that painting back there that I want to finish up. And then I have this, like, if you can see this one here, it's kind of a mess right now. I don't exactly know what I want to do with it yet. Hi, Yzma. But that's another one I want to work on. And then I have the big mural that's on like the big roll of paper that I also want to work on. So I don't know. What would you guys want to see? Do you want to see a really big project? Do you want to see a weird unhinged project? Do you want to see I guess more of like the painting? I don't know necessarily the best way to display the painting because it's a bit bigger and I don't have an easel that I can like stand back here. So I'd have to figure something out for that. But yeah, what sounds interesting to y'all? I may just at some point like, you know, just pick one, but I can be influenced. We are getting closer to buying the big easel. There's the part of me that's like I mentioned this on stream yesterday, but it's like I want to sell more of my traditional well, I want to sell my traditional art at all. And the only thing that's between me and doing that is just like putting it out there and being like this is for sale before I buy the easel. The easel is like my reward of like selling my traditional art. But I'm like eh. I don't know. I don't know why. I'll probably like I don't know. I'm just making it harder for myself. It's just a challenge, I guess. All refined company's great anyway. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. As far as like the stream like schedule, like when I'm gonna do it, it's probably going to be mostly in the mornings, like it has been. Um and I mean definitely doing abstract stuff. I do have plans to work on my portraits and stuff again as well. And I think bringing the series back would be really cool, but I'm just kind of like warming back up to everything. So, haven't done any abstract stuff for many years. It's making me want to do some. Hey, so do you should. They're so therapeutic. Hi, Gomez. Met you on Twitter and back to try to learn art because of you. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, Name is Julia. I will do my best to remember that. I usually call people by their usernames. But thank you so much for coming in. I'm so excited to hear that you're learning art again. I'm abstract in here. Thank you for coming to visit though. How are you? Okay, so I've got like it may be a little harder to see, but I'm doing like this sort of spiral thing behind all of this stuff in the front. So I think this is going to be fun. Curious to see you work on your digital artworks on stream. Enjoying a lot to watch you work in the abstract ones. I'll definitely be back to it soon. Sorry, there's a hair. I've just been the abstract. I can't remember, Noed, if you were here when I talked about it, but the abstract work has been something that brought me out of a really nasty art block. And so it's very special to my heart. And it's something that I've been doing a lot of. And it's helping me, nurture my relationship with art again. So this is kind of like my safety blanket right now. But I will get back to this stuff for sure. Background lines change the feeling a lot. Yeah, I think it gives it something like not that it was static before, but this kind of enhances the kind of swirling movement that's already happening. Do you have any tips for beginners? How to study without getting bored? I think this is a fantastic question, and um, the just like general tips are a little bit harder to offer, but working how to study without getting bored. I think a really good approach here is having a main project or a main thing that you're working on that really interests you. And then anytime you get stuck in that project, that's when you step away and you do a study of that particular thing. So, for example, if let's say you're working on portraits and you get stuck drawing the nose, then what you would want to do is take time away from your main project, study noses, like isolating just drawing noses, and then what you learn from that study, you can then take back to your main work. So studies never feel like this long list of things that you have to do to get better, but rather something you can incorporate into the work that already really excites you. And then you're not worrying about like waiting to make art that you enjoy or waiting to draw the things that you want to draw. Hi, Remixy. Let's see. Sil, how do you beat AI accusations? You know, I feel like this type of thing, I mean, this is going around all the time because AI and AI is feeding on the art of the people who are getting accused. But I think number one, don't use AI because then, like, nobody can tell you that you are. But then number two, I think, sometimes at least like what I see online is when people get accused, they get more and more defensive. And I feel like if you just are like, yeah, I don't use it, here's my process, and then you leave it, you're good. Like what else do you have to do, right? And I think the only time it gets like bigger and worse is when you feed into it. And if you're not using AI, then like I don't know. I guess like there's the concern of like it could ruin your reputation, but if it's not true, it's not true. And there's really nothing you can do to be like here's proof that I don't use it because you don't. I mean, you can show your video process, you can show, you can draw live. I guess there's things you can do to combat it, but it's I mean, I would just ignore it. Like, you know, you say, I'm just gonna ignore you. People don't like you, they may accuse you harder. But the thing is, like in my mind, I don't know, in my mind it can't hurt me. But I that's also my perspective and so I'm going to react differently than someone who feels like it might be harmful to them. I don't use AI and like I guess I just don't worry about defending it because if you know, you know. I mean, if you've ever been to like one of my streams, like you would know. So to me, it's not a big deal. But I guess if you're not someone who's like sharing the process very often, then obviously it's a little bit harder to defend. Yeah. What do you think about the mentality, why bother when AI can do it in seconds? So this is a really good question. I think that anybody who's made art in their lifetime, they know that there's something more that comes from it just from the outcome. And I think that and while I think that AI can be discouraging in the sense that like, it looks better than mine, so why would I create something? But I think there's something deeper to be found in the creation of art. And if it's art is so unique to us, art is that injection of who we are and that, you know, synthesizing who we are to create something that is completely unique to us. And one of the things that, and I think this is why a lot of people are moving towards traditional art, not because they think like, they're worried about being accused of AI or because they are worried AI is necessarily going to replace them, but there is I think that there's going to become this artisanal quality to human made art because if so many people are making AI and anyone can do it that well in that sense, it's going to lose its charm. And so I think the human aspect of it is more important than people talk about. But I think that AI is so good at marketing itself as being this like productive, super quick, super easy, effortless thing, and like, but that's not what art is, and that's not what art ever has been. And the experience of making art is something completely removed from the societal expectation of do more, be more productive. Like, it's the opposite of that. And so, for those who are only invested in the outcome, I think they either haven't experienced the mental like relief that art gives, or they're not interested in experiencing that, and that's fine, I guess. But like, if everyone's using AI, no one's going to be interested in the AI output. And I'm pretty sure most people have had the same experience where if you go to Pinterest, it's all AI and nobody wants to look at it. So I think that's every reason to keep making art. Hey, no AI in here. Yeah. It's really tough because on one hand, like I don't want to say that um just arts, make the art and don't worry about the outcome, although I think there is some value in that, but like obviously we have some interest in making it look a particular way. But I really do believe that there's more to art making. And I know that there's more to art making because that's also why I create. There's a relief, there's a feeling, there's a sense of self-development. Like I think art has taught me so much about myself. And I think if my pen dying. I think if we're only concerned about the outcome, we lose a part of that. And you don't necessarily need to make art to experience that. I think you can experience that sort of flow with anything that you do. Um, but I don't think AI is intended to. AI feels very like, what's the word? It's meant to like make things better, faster, stronger, but like that's not what the human experience is meant to be. We're meant to be imperfect. We're meant to be slow. We're meant to have that experience and also discover parts of ourselves through that experience. It feels like it's more like a tool for businesses to save money than something a creative person utilizes. And I know that I'm going to piss people off by saying that, but I don't think anybody who uses AI is hanging out in my chat, so it doesn't matter. Yes. Hi, Super. How you doing? How to escape the art student loop. I'm far from a beginner. It's been exactly a year last month. I started studying art almost every day, and also a year since I started to make complete digital artworks. The story's long, but I'm not spamming everything here. Color is my big problem. I know the theory of color, but I struggle to see and actually make it all look cohesive. The sketch and drawing might be perfect, then as soon as I jump into colors, I try over and over, and it looks wrong. So, no, add this, I would say in all of the fundamentals that I had to learn, color was one that I was stuck on for a very long time. And now it's one of my favorites. But the hard part is that color is made up of all the other fundamentals. So color is very expressive, but color can't stand on its own without strong values, without form being defined and understanding the relationship of color to those values. So if you feel like color is your struggle, um, I would definitely practice identifying color. Not just what color is it, but also what is the temperature, what is the saturation. And then I would also develop your understanding of the relationship of color to value. Because a lot of times it's not that the colors are wrong. You could use the same color, but the value of the color is important. The value is what carries the actual form and makes the piece readable. Soda, I like that analogy. What do I think of artists who use AI but to have some kind of visual inspiration? I don't know if I have an opinion on it. I feel like it's not something I'm interested in. And if people want to use it for their own means, then who am I to stop them? Um, Not my personal preference. Obviously, there's like reasons not to use AI, very valid reasons. But I'm, I don't know, I'm not in control of other people. It's one of those things too where like it's someone mentioned photography and like the problems with it aren't necessarily in the fact of like what it does. The problems with it are in how the information is acquired, the energy that it uses, and the creatives that it's harming. So it's like if those things can be solved, cool. But and like cool, let people do what they want, but like I think there's other problematic elements. And also, quite frankly, it's just it all looks the same. Like it doesn't feel creative because it all looks the same. Hi, Cozy. More and more appreciating the process of making art rather than thinking about the results. I love that. I'm right there with you. That has been like the thing that got me out of my art block, as well as what um my abstract work was born from, was just this like there's so much pressure to create the outcome, like a good outcome, right? um to perform, like this performance, like I was so tired of like performing. I think that's what it was. And also I think with and maybe I'm just projecting a little bit, but I think with art there is this pressure to kind of like prove yourself, like to keep growing, keep pushing. And while I like that journey, like as an analytical person and I like looking for patterns and things, I enjoy that journey of always growing and always exploring. But it felt like it was starting to come from a place that if I didn't do it, that I was somehow invalid or I wasn't like a good enough artist. And I feel like that's where things get really muddy. And so revisiting what I love about the process and not necessarily the outcome um really healed that. And the ironic thing is that even though my abstract work looks completely different from my digital work, I love the abstract work. I love how like simple, and I love the shapes, and I love the movement and the colors. Like I absolutely love it. Um Arguably there's days where I love my abstract work more. um but again, like that, I think that has to do with the fact that I'm also cozy in that space where I'm very much appreciating the process more, but I think that that makes it so addictive. Like that makes it makes me want to wake up every single day and just make shit. Like, I don't even care what it is. Like I said, I have this weird ass project back here that I'm using my broken mirror to like recreate something new, and I want to do something abstract on it. But it's like, I would have never thought to do that before. I would have never even allowed myself to do that. And I think that's where things get really hairy because then, you know, you get really good at doing one particular type of work and then you kind of put yourself in a box. And while the work may be awesome and you may also enjoy it, it's like sometimes you just want to like experiment and make shit. And I think I talked about this a few streams ago, but I think that experimentation is key to a happy relationship with your creativity because if you're only ever doing one thing and you're afraid to try something new, that one thing is never going to evolve and you're never going to allow yourself to evolve as a creative because you're going to be making decisions based on what's going to perform the best, right? And sometimes our experiments are not good. Sometimes they're bad. And that's okay. But from that, whatever the bad is, you're going to find that, oh, I actually like doing it this way. Or I'm going to try this in my next big piece. Also, I'm going to pause the conversation because we've got an ad about to come up. I'm going to take a quick little break and then I will come right back and we'll keep on talking about the conversation. Okay. I will be right back. Hold that thought.
Lemon.
All right, how we doing? Ads still rolling? You guys with me? I feel like it might still be going. That's okay. We'll hold out. Don't see the ads with me. Well, you guys sub soda. You guys can. I guess this is a bad time to say it. I was gonna say you guys can subscribe if you don't want ads, but if you're watching an ad, you're kind of you're probably not gonna hear me. All right, free from ads. Different for everyone. Is it? I tried to figure out like the timing of it so that instead of it being a surprise ad, it was just like once an hour and then it would, knock out the pre-roll stuff and people wouldn't have to watch an ad the moment they came in. Okay. So, no ad. Let me read your message here and we'll keep going. Hi, Uber. Uber Ben. I'll answer your question as well. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so Noad said intermediate level is the most stagnant one in my point of view. Gesture and thumbnailing are my strong points. Also do love making studies in black and white. They help me escape frustration when not enjoying art in the moment. Pushing into anything that isn't 100% study keeps me blocked and I can't go further. I think it's where I pointed the art student loop. Is there any exercises besides color practice I can do to make me let go of those constant studying? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a really great question. So, oh no, Fox has ads now. Oh no. I wonder if the ad. Oh, I see. I see. So I see the timer. Weird. Yeah, it might just be different for everybody. Do you need help with this coffee? Thank you. Okay, I have coffee. Smells nice. You put cinnamon in it? Ooh, pumpkin spice. Okay. We need less water next time. Actually, wait. I'm gonna say do like a quarter water and then the rest milk. Or maybe we do 2 shots. 2 shots might be better. Maybe 2 shots and a quarter water. Yeah. Okay. 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 Anyway, hello. Okay. So, hang on. I gotta find a safe spot for this. Okay. So let me go back to the question, Noad. So you want something that you can do that lets go of constantly studying, and I think I answered a question earlier that I think was kind of related, where I think doing project-based studying is going to be more enjoyable for you because if you feel like everything that you show up to do is a study, you're going to be like, why am I doing this? Like, I didn't start drawing because all I wanted to do was study. I think it's important that you work on the things you want to work on. And then when you get stuck, um, because you say that you get blocked and you can't go further. When you get stuck, two things. One, I would ask for feedback from somebody because they're going to, if you have trouble seeing what the next step is, they're going to give you insight into what might need work. And then from there, you can take that and you can begin to work on particular studies based on those things. They shouldn't be like long, arduous studies. Like I would say, give it like an hour or something, where you just study one particular thing and then bring that back to your main project. And that's going to allow you to work on things that really excite you without feeling like everything you do is a study. It's going to be difficult though, because I think doing something that is um, like working on your own individual project and then trying to work through those problems that come up is really challenging. And it's much more challenging than just sitting down and doing a study where you kind of know what to expect with that process. So until you get more comfortable with the process from like start to finish on something, every time you get stuck, it might be challenging. But it's going to be worth overcoming, and you can overcome it. But I would take it one step at a time. You know, don't feel like you have to take one piece all the way to the end, or until it's done. Rather, it's okay to work on developing one thing per project and then moving on. So back to Ben's question. Any examples of exercises to do to practice advanced rendering techniques in digital painting? I'd like to streamline the sketch drawing to get to rendering. This is Rick. Hey, Rick. Yeah, so what I would recommend here, it's one of those situations where when you want to develop something, you've got to get into the thick of it and work on that specifically. So, like if you're doing a lot of sketching, obviously that's not going to help the rendering process. So, what I might try instead of, starting a new piece and going all the way to the end and then you get your practice in, I would maybe revisit um maybe the end portion of the same painting a couple times. So repainting it, and getting that like constant practice of the end of the process, especially because that's a part of the process that I think we see more infrequently because it's towards the end of this really long like a long project. Like when we think of really highly rendered illustrations, they tend to take many hours depending on who the artist is, and their speed. But it's harder to get there, so we see that point less. So if you can work or practice at that stage of the process without having to restart the painting, it's going to get you a lot of practice. But I mean, the more that you go through the entire process, the more you're going to get better at the entire process anyway. And you're going to have pieces to show for it. But as a final note, one of the things that I did when I was developing my style was I'd take my piece to like the end of where I knew I was capable. And then from there, what I would do is I would look to another artist or, a piece of work that like really inspired me that had the level of finish that I wanted. And then I would try to spend a little bit extra time analyzing what it is that they incorporated in their work that maybe I didn't have. And then I would maybe take a couple more hours and just try to bring that into my work in some way. And that was how I kept like slowly pushing the end result. No, Ed, I think if you feel like you don't have that process yet, I think it's also okay. But the sooner you kind of iron out what that looks like for you, it's going to take some of the like guesswork out of it. But at the same time, don't be afraid to experiment even when you do find it. I feel like in that, I think you said you were drawing for about a year uh, so far. And I think that there's still lots of time to explore and figure that out. I would say that for me, I don't know if I really had like a process ironed out for a couple years. I spent a lot of time really just trying many things. Not only like styles, but also um, whether I was just sketching and then jumping into paint, whether I was, refining the lines and then painting, whether I was painting at all. Um, so don't be afraid to experiment, and um, even when you have that ironed out. Are you sad about the coffee? You look very sad over there. Are you sad about the coffee? Oh, do you want to remake it? You can try it again. Okay, well you can make it again. It's okay. I'll drink yours if you want. Um, that's up to you. I mean, this is still tasty. I like it. Yeah. What? Your face looked so sad. I looked over and you were like full on depression. I was like, "Are you okay?" Oh. But yeah, no, Ed, I think it's a really good question. And I think there's many there's many people in that stage, and I feel like that is a really frustrating stage to be in, because like it's almost like a gamble, right? Because like sometimes the pieces they come out great and you're like, holy crap, how did I do that? But then other times you're like, oh, I hate this, like how can I even call myself an artist, right? So like I think that stage, the intermediate stage, is so frustrating because it's so inconsistent. But I think it has to be, because that's where you're finding yourself. Jasper, thank you for your prime, baby. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. How are you doing? Do you guys like my mug? This one? This one's Lenny. This one's Lenny, and I would say this one's Yzma. Yzma's not orange, but she is round. And then I don't know, maybe this one's Luna. This one reminds me of Luna. Those are those are future kitties, yeah. Also, I know that like I mean a lot of what I'm working on is my abstract work, but if you guys want to see more of my illustrations and my splash pieces and my portraits, I have I mean there's a whole catalog from when I started on DeviantArt. I don't use DeviantArt anymore, but there's a whole bunch. So if you want to like see my journey there, DeviantArt has everything. And then on Kara and on Kara, I don't know if Instagram has everything, but Instagram has a lot, and Kara I think has all of my like main big pieces. So if you guys want to see all my other digital work, it's all posted there. I haven't posted my abstract art anywhere. Like I posted a little bit on Twitter, just when I was going live, but I haven't posted the abstract anywhere. All good here, except I never seem to learn to draw when I say I'm going to. Oh no. Jasper, I think it's one of those hobbies that's like even if it's something we really want, I think it's so easy to just like tack it on at the end of the day, and then by the time you get there it's like I'm tired, or I've got other stuff going on, or I'd rather do something else, like I think it's one of those things that really needs that dedicated time, even if it's just 30 minutes a day. And I'm a huge proponent of this. I think 30 minutes a day makes a huge difference, but I think it almost has to happen before everything else. Hi, what are you doing? What's that, baby? This is Yzma, for those that don't know. No, you can't go on the art. I know you really want to do that, but you can't. Do you want to sit in my lap? Must sit, see paper. No, no, no. Come here. Come in here. There you go. Not on the table. Not on the table. Not on the table. No, she's okay. She'll settle. She'll settle. Hi, baby. Who's a baby kitty? No. You can like just see her little paw when she tries to get up. No. You want to stay with me? She's like, no, I do not. Hard to get motivated after a long day at work. As much as I want to, being lazy is so much easier. Jasper, I think in this instance, oh, excuse me, just fell out of the chair. I think in this instance, when it's hard to show up and you've had like a long, busy day, I do think that allowing yourself to have that cutoff time where it's like, okay, it's been 30 minutes, like now I'm done. Or even just setting the expectation of like, all right, I'm gonna take 5 minutes to draw and then I can be done after that. Just to build the habit, just to build the like intrinsic motivation for it, because when you show up for it, I think you're gonna find you really enjoy it and that it is actually really refreshing and rewarding after work. But until you do, I think there's this daunting idea of like, that's more work. But I don't think it has to be. Oh, also, I mentioned my other socials a moment ago, but if you guys are ever looking for me, I'm Silas A everywhere. Um, I think all of my links are on my website. Hi Alex, how are you? Any advice for finishing artwork? Every time I finish a sketch and have to go into details, I have an urge to do a new sketch. I think it's because details take longer than any other step and not as fun. I think so, Alex, this may be less of like technical advice here, but I think if you have the mindset that doing the details is not as fun, I think it's you're always going to be urged to move on to the next piece. So some kind of reframe about what it means to spend that time on the details, I think, is going to be really important in helping you actually want to do them. Um, that might just be, you know, interrupting the thought of, oh, it's time to do details. Now it's not going to be fun, and replacing it with something like, actually, I'm excited to do the details because this means that I get to elevate my piece. Um, there's also the side of it of, do you have to do the details? I think there's this misconception that like more detailed, better rendered, better artwork is somehow better, right? Um, but ultimately, the question is, what do you want from your work? And developing that. Because, I mean, you ask any artist, 90% of them will say that their sketches get more engagement. So it's like, do you need to add those details? Or do you feel pressured to add those details? And this is, I don't know you, I don't know your experience. So this is more of speculation of some of the things that can get in the way, that aren't necessarily like technical related. But you know yourself best. And I think it's important to ask those questions throughout the process because you don't have to do it like everybody else. You don't have to fully render it. You don't have to add details. I think there's really fantastic art out there that's just a swoopy line and a little bit of shading. And I mean, go to any museum and you'll see that there are boundaries in art that we are allowed to break. Super. Hi, Myth Lista. How you doing, baby? That if you ever want to break the ice in chat, you can always open with a dad joke. I'm a big fan. I feel like this pen is dying, but like it's full of ink. Yeah, like it's working, but it's not working how I want it to. Yeah, that's fine. It's just my messy thing. I don't think you should. Well, maybe you should. Everyone needs a good tutorial. Chad, do you want a tutorial on how to fix your pen? You get shy, I can tell. Also, a program for short people who are in denial about their height. Why are you calling me out, okay? Setting up work, sipping my coffee. How are you? Doing good, doing good. Same thing, just drawing, sipping my coffee. What are you working on today? You know, I feel like Mythos, I feel like we had talked about doing that video for so long. I'm wondering if we just do that live instead. Like just have the chat um here on stream. I don't know like if you'd be down for that, but I feel like that would be easier to schedule and follow through on cuz there's like for me there's less steps. It's like we just show up. A stream interview. Yeah, I think that could be really fun. Oh, I just realized something. Hang on, I gotta write something down. Go back.
lemon, lemon,
Okay. Thank you guys for the follow. Viridian, Bald Baseball Dad, Ceza, Gomez, Super, Ugrain. Thank you guys for the follows today. I appreciate it. I realized I completely missed the follows. Hi, Ness. Love the abstract stuff and that you're back. Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear it. I'm excited to be back. I've been live almost every day since when did I stream? When did I come back? Was it sometime this weekend, I think? Hi there. Went to art school. Haven't drawn or painted in years, but want to start back up. I love to hear it. Is there anything that is like, do you have any apprehensions about it or anything that's got you stuck in getting started? I'm really interested in your story as well because you went to art school. Um, did you end up, I'm assuming you went down a different career path, but I'd love to know kind of what that journey looked like and what influenced you to do that. I don't know if I've ever heard of Laurel D. Austin, Noad. I'll have to look into them. Actually, I'm gonna Google now. I'm curious. Oh wow, yeah, their work's really stunning. This Hogger piece looks really familiar. I think I might know. I think I might have actually seen this artist before. A lot of Warcraft inspiration here. Cool stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Wanted to be an artist, ended up editing videos in the sports world, stepped away as a freelancer and full time dad. No apprehension necessarily, just not as inspired as I was in my 20s. Interesting. What a journey though. I'm curious what's bringing you back. Not that like, that's a bad thing is. I realize that question sounds like, "Oh, what are you doing back here?" No. I'm just curious what brings you back, what makes you want to start again. Really like the shapes and line work on these pieces. Abstract art is something that's sort of beyond me, so it's cool to see work like this. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. It's very close to my heart. It's something that has rejuvenated I mean, it helped me get out of art block. It's really helped my relationship with art. And to me, abstract art is more about the process than the outcome, where you're more listening to your intuition and allowing things to come to life on their own. Whereas I think with some of my portraiture and my full illustrations, it's easy to kind of get lost in the outcome. And of course, like, I love those. But I think these have been a really healing experience for me. Hi, Kodhimi. How are you? Hi, Rocket. Good to see you, baby. It's a lot cheaper than therapy. Okay, fair, fair. Want to show my son what I can do. My grandpa was a huge painter, and he passed. Is probably my biggest inspiration. Oh, I love that. Well, it's so exciting that you're getting back into it, and I'm sure it's going to be very inspiring for you to revisit something that you obviously have a lot of love for. I mean, you went to, you have the credentials in it, so. Do you have a particular like medium that you want to work in, whether that's like digital or traditional, or do you, I guess, do you know where you want to take things or what you want to explore? A city-sized haboob? What's a haboob? Is that what the kids are saying these days, Rocket? A wall of oh, is that like slang for sandstorm? I've never heard of that term before. Haboobs? Next, you're being such a haboob. Northern African term. Okay, it's a real thing. All right. I had no I've literally never heard it before. Okay. Well, Rocket, since you're here, I'm assuming you survived. You're all good. Next, you just said that Rocket's a haboob survivor. Oh my god. That's really funny. Okay. Today I learned what a haboob is. I think we all did. Facewell Dad. I think we all of us except Ellis and Rocket. Hi Chrissy, how are you doing?
It's funny to imagine that living through whatever like the taboo and everyone's just making fun of it.
Yeah,
It's really
it's like
funny.
this life-threatening, dangerous
It's really
thing.
serious, but everyone's like,
It's this really serious thing, and we're over here going haboob, like 4-year-olds. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what to say next. I'm gonna do what I do best. I always find things like that really like comical, just like the weird names for things. Um Nexie and I are really big fans of birds as well. And just the fact that there's such a thing as a great tit is like the funniest thing to me. It sounds weird to say we're a fan of birds. Nexie and I are great fans of tits. Well,
Lemon.
you know. Oh my god. I'm sure that the boob part of the world is why it's stuck. Yeah. Oh my god, that's funny. Where am I? Where am I right now? Oh, hang on a minute. Particles, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Is there any game that you played before that it was like your call, either visually, emotionally, or even spiritually? Uh, your call. Is that the name of the game? Um, I don't know. Hi, particles. Oh, tit used to mean small. Interesting. Oh, a game that got stuck in your head. Let me think about this. I don't game very much these days, but I mean, I grew up playing World of Warcraft. That was like World of Warcraft. Yeah, I grew up playing World of Warcraft, so there was many years of that. Um, Conan Exiles, loved that game while it was fun. What else? I guess like got stuck in my head like I really liked Conan Exiles anyway just because of like Frank Frazetta's art has always been an inspiration. Conan O'Brien. No. Yeah, Frank Frazetta's work has always been an inspiration. What else? I feel like yeah, Warcraft was an influence as well. League of Legends, I feel like the splash work is an inspiration. But I don't play League of Legends. I don't hate myself enough. You know. I think everyone knows what I'm Yeah. Yeah, so whew. Yep. Frazetta, yeah, I love Frazetta's work. We did visit Riot. We did visit Riot. That was a fun experience. They're doing some fun stuff over there, gotta say. I have not Viridian. I may know the art, but like I'm really bad with the names. She didn't want you to notice that she couldn't make the jump. What about you, chat? What are some of your big inspirations? Your whether it's I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be an art inspiration for it to inspire your work, but like any type of creative inspiration. She's thinking about it. She did it again. What the hell? Maybe she's nervous. Literally started drawing because of how to draw Nintendo characters. I love it. That Alex, that brings me back to I don't know if you guys had this book when you were younger, but it was a how to draw manga book. It had a blue cover with a character with blue hair on it. It's one of those things where I'm like, did this actually exist? But it did. What?
Did it have the gun?
I can't remember if it had the gun or not. I remember just the character with the blue hair. Do you want to pick that stuff up you just knocked down? Next, he got excited and just like punched everything on the desk.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
A lot of concept art for early Final Fantasy. Oh yeah. Okay, so I definitely know the art. Tit comes from the titmouse. Oh, we got some lore. Okay. Tit comes from the titmouse, which means a little bird. I don't know where birds get the name booby from, though. On that note, check out Juan Fernandez, Tit Tyrant. It's a pretty little bird. All right. I'm going to check out Juan Fernandez, Tit Tyrant.
Lemon.
Oh my God. JFR, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. someone who played League in college. I hear you on that. I don't see. Here's the thing, and like, no hate on people who play League. Like, you know, you play what you want to play. It's like your gaming time, right? You don't have an opinion here. But like, I have a hard time understanding where the fun is in that game. And maybe this is my like brief biased experience, but when I played that game, even when I played League of Legends with my friends, they were mean to me about the game. They were like, "You're messing things up." And I'm like, "I don't know how to play this. Like, you have to teach me how to play this." And of course, like, enemies are like, you know, people you don't know are going to be worse. But like, I don't know. It just didn't seem enjoyable. And then when I was doing well, the enemy team would still be like, "You're shit," or like call me names. And I was like, I don't know why this is fun. I really don't know why this is fun. Play what?
You have to play a game with chat turned off.
But like, why play a multiplayer game with chat turned off? That seems like that defeats the purpose, right?
You're not there to make friends, you're there to make enemies.
Why wouldn't I be there to make friends? I don't want to make enemies in a game. Can you guys hear him? He's defending this. Hi, Boop. Hi, Ginger. How are you? 100% play League with the chat turned off. But like, what if I want to talk to people? What? You gonna play a multiplayer game and not speak to people? I don't go out into the world and people call me names. I mean, sometimes, but
You're not trying to defend then your nexus.
I am trying to defend my Nexus in real life. Whatever that means. Some games you won't find friends in. I guess that's true. That's true. Turn chat off, lock in, obtain perfect CS. But friends. Yeah, I'm not a big game person right now. Like, I think for me, gaming was always like a really social thing, so like I guess playing on my own is hard because like I'd rather just do other things. Like I have other interests I'd rather do. Unless people are involved. So if I'm not making friends in League of Legends, I don't want to play it. I'm not gonna no. See, this is why I fully believe that people who play League of Legends hate themselves. He just said to me, at the end of the game, you can add this person and listen to them flame you. No,
It's funny.
it's not. What? That sounds like a terrible time. What? But it's instead, I could be over here drawing, feeling. Hi, Yisma. Feeling great, feeling sane. Okay, and then why would I subject myself to that? Let's see. Here's something I don't see often discussed. How do you make art friends? I have IRL friends, but I have no art friends. Also, I suck at online communication. So I hear you. I think making friends online is tough. Um, you know, there's a connotation with like slipping into someone's DMs, but like you've got to talk to them in order to make friends with them. So, number one, I think don't be afraid to just put yourself out there, say hello. first and foremost. But I think in like a social media setting, if you spend more time like engaging in the comments with people, it's a little bit easier to then send them a message and be like, "Hey, I think you're cool. Like we obviously get along in comments." You know, like whatever. But like I would say people in chat are saying join Discords. I think this is a really good option. I also think um joining spaces where you just have general interests and then sharing your art in those spaces. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be art friends for them to like really enjoy your art or even give feedback on your work. But there are lots of art spaces out there. I think you, as long as you put yourself out there in the space and you connect with other people and you have a genuine interest in other people, and it's not just like, here's my art, now I'm going to run away. I think it's a lot easier to make friends. But Discord works really well. I think anyone that you connect with in like the comments on social media, like send them a DM. You could even go to in-person events. Um, like live drawing classes or just creative meetups. Like I think those are really underrated, and maybe that's just because Yasma, what are you doing? I think maybe that's just because most creative people, like a lot of creative people tend to be kind of introverted, so that might be harder to do. Hi, third floor, how are you? This me and Sylv became best friends in a year. All Soda did was show up to every stream and just be mean to me, and we became friends. Everyone knows that the meaner you are to me, the more likely I am to become your friend. I don't know why. That's probably a self worth thing, but I'm kidding. Don't be mean to me. I will ignore you unless your name is Soda Clown. I've been doing it wrong this whole time. That's a League of Legends strategy. Maybe I would like the game then. Maybe I'd make alt friends because they would all just tell me how awful I am at the game. Find the rare artistic extrovert, make friends, have them carry around to meet other artists like some kind of baggage. Hey, Yasma, what are you doing? Why are you the troublemaker today? Meow, meow. Yasma is just going crazy. Hi, what are you doing? Are you being sassy? Meow. Let's see. Hi, Starbutter. Hope I can ask this question here. How would you advise dealing with art not coming out how you imagine and the kind of paralysis that comes from that? So, I think this is one of the toughest parts of creating art because I think a lot of people have a really strong vision of what the outcome is supposed to be. But I think if you can get more comfortable with the outcome not being exactly what you want it to be, I think that's when art becomes really freeing. And the only way to do that is to try to produce something and be a bit more open with that outcome. And what this looked like for me for many years, especially with my portraiture, which is like, you know, you got to draw it to a certain extent for it to look like a face, um was if something didn't work out, either I would gauge whether or not it was in my like ability, and then if it was and I just needed to study, I'd go study something. If it wasn't, then I had no problem changing the approach, because it meant that I could still get the piece out there and I can always rework it in the future if I feel like there's a better way. Um, but I also feel like it was really helpful for me, and this is where my abstract stuff came from. It was really helpful for me to let go of the outcome in terms of nurturing that relationship with creativity, because there's a part of drawing that I really enjoy when I'm not expecting it to be any particular thing. And that's something that was missing very heavily from my work for many years because I was always trying to produce a certain thing. So, like, having a blend of that, but also being open and okay with having to pivot, I think this is what creativity is about. I think having an idea of what we want it to look like is important, but I don't think
Lemon.
that being so rigid that you become paralyzed is helpful for your creativity or helpful in making the process enjoyable. And that's like, it's going to require a bit of a reframe, but I think it's one that will really help your relationship with drawing. And at least you'll know what to do in the instance of what happens when I feel that paralysis and I get stuck. Yeah. Really good questions today, you guys. 3 years I sketched in nothing but ink, commit, learn, draw again. Third floor, I really respect that. And I've been painting digitally for 10 years, but I feel like now that's where I'm at, where it's like I'm committed to the pen, this my cheap Bic pen. And I want to just own whatever comes from it. Like I don't want to hit control Z. I don't want to get frustrated with something going wrong. I don't even like the idea anymore of looking at my work and thinking, "Oh, I've made a mistake." Like I think there's always some way that I can transform that mistake into something that feels like it was meant to be in the piece. And that has made creating so much less stressful. Both in the fact that like it's built confidence in me because I know that I'm capable of handling that mistake, but it also makes me feel confident because I know that if I do make a mistake, I know that I will be able to handle it as well as evolve it into something that I'm still going to enjoy in the end. What are you doing over there? Oh, okay. Most of what I draw makes me frustrated because it didn't turn out, but that doesn't mean it turned out badly. Yeah, I think like it's one of those things where, if you tell a fish to climb a tree, it's always gonna like there's like a proper like phrase for this, but it's like if you always shut up, if you always look at it like it has to be this way, and if it isn't, this is what it means about me or about my art, I think there's always going to be frustration in that. Whereas, like, if you can be more flexible with the framing, and also change the intention. I had a really insightful conversation with one of my students where um, she had mentioned that she was having a hard time kind of showing up for the work or like being happy with it. And she said that she changed her framing from I want to make a good piece, which is like very broad and could mean anything, right? To I want to tell my story. And she was immensely happy with the outcome because she did just that. She told the story that she wanted to tell. And I think that looks different than just saying I'm going to make a really good piece. Because like what is a good piece? How do we define a good piece? Whose opinion makes it a good piece, right? It's way too subjective to be a good piece. But it's like I think we have this idea of like a good piece is being like the, artists we admire, and sometimes like we're just not there yet. Like we still need that time, we still need that practice, right? um but if that's what we're shooting for every single time, I think that's an unrealistic expectation of yourself and your work. Whereas when you reframe what it means to make that piece, then with just a reframing, you can go from hating a piece of art to loving it. Like I think that's how close we are to enjoying what comes out of the process versus not liking it. That's the wrong number. Hi, username. How you doing? But yeah, so I don't know. I think reframing is very powerful. And also, I think it's important to I'm so big on reflection. Like there's a whole section about reflection in my portrait drawing boot camp. And I'm so big on reflection because I think it's that clarity that helps us understand, do we even want it to look that way? Do we even need it to look that way? Does it actually look that way and our perception of it is just skewed? Like is our intention off? So I think the reflection of the art and of the experience is so important, and it's so important to stay objective in it. And I think that reflection is one thing that really helps us come back to the work because we come back to it with clarity instead of this vague abstract idea of like, oh, I need to be a good artist. But like, what does that mean to you? And that's really the only thing that matters. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter what others think are good is good work because the people who agree with what you believe in will find you. But so many people are trying to meet a standard, and I think sometimes they don't even understand why they want that, or haven't clarified it for themselves. Speaking of the boot camp, if you guys want to check that out, it's a really great resource and it's tailored to individuals who want to learn to draw portraits but don't have a ton of time. So we dedicated about, I think it's 30 minutes a day to study and 30 minutes a day to drawing, developing your portraits every single week. And you're going to see results just from that. So it's an 8-week program. And if you're somebody who's having trouble getting started or you need a little bit of guidance, all of the lessons are planned out. All of the days have a draw along with me, and there's references included so that you don't have to worry about finding reference. You don't have to worry about any of it. I do everything. I bring everything so you can just show up and draw. And you get break days. Yes. Rocket took the boot camp as well. And so it's 5 days of drawing with break days in between. And you can fit it into your schedule however you like, but I do think that those short daily bursts of drawing are really important. Are we able to build consistency during the boot camp in terms of how we work and build the process? Just curious. Yeah, so we go through the way that it's structured is we start with the study methods. So the study methods, they are a bit more versatile, so you can use the study methods outside of the boot camp as well. And those are really about how to analyze your subjects and your material to then bring it into your work. And it teaches you how to not only, it's not about copying, it's about analyzing and then synthesizing it into something that feels unique to you. So there's a lot of lessons and study methods that show different exercises on how to do that. So it starts with the study methods, and then each week we have one particular topic that we learn when it comes to drawing portraits, and then we incorporate each study method every single day into each study session. And again, they're all guided, so every single one is recorded live with me, so you can draw along with me, and then you've got the same like references and resources if you want to do the same ones. And then, I mean, because you're showing up 5 days a week, I find that the students found that it was much easier to keep going after the boot camp because they'd already been doing 5 days a week for 8 weeks. So you've built a habit at that point. But what the boot camp does really well in terms of helping with consistency is the fact that it takes out all the extra steps, and it helps to alleviate the question of what do I work on today, which I think is also something that people get stuck on, because by the time you're done thinking about, okay, well, what am I going to do today, or going down a rabbit hole of like, what should I do today, you're like, I don't want to draw anymore. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. So with the boot camp, it's all planned out. It's very structured. I incorporate the reflection questions as well, because those also develop intrinsic motivation and help you continue to want to show up. Yeah. And lots of people on stream have taken it, but if you guys are curious, there's a when you buy the boot camp, there is a Discord, and there's lots of people in there who are still doing portraiture. They're still sharing their work. It is a community of people who are still very active. That, and I'm working on the next boot camp as well. The next boot camp will be on portrait painting, but portrait drawing had to come first. Absolutely had to come first.
Lemon.
Lemon, Bruja, thank you for the follow. Yeah, we had a round of people who had already bought the boot camp who got together and they retook it again. They did another 8 weeks and improved again. So that's another thing that's really useful about it. It is repeatable, and you will continue to see progress as you keep using it. So let's say you finish the first 8 weeks, you're going to improve. But let's say you're like, I still want to keep on developing, but I don't necessarily want to have to worry about all the setup and finding things. You can run through it again and you'll get the same experience. And so the way that it's set up as well is that if you went through it again, there's different references. So each week I give for each lesson, I give like 2 to 3 references so that you can change it up. You can use a different reference the second time around. So it's reusable in a sense. And when I ran through it with my students, this was the hilarious part. I ran through it with my students because we did it all together live. I improved as well. I made a tweet on this. It was very funny, but I improved from my own boot camp, and I was like, huh, okay, I guess I expected that, but I didn't expect it to be like this noticeable. Practice helps or something like that. Yeah. Hi, Half Peas. How are you? Haven't drawn anything since 2022. I'm in a huge rut. Kodhimi, what's feeling like it's got you stuck? I feel like, hang on, I need paint because I need to add some stuff here. Let's see. Because everything is terrible. I get big mad. Okay, so Kodhimi, I think that there's probably, hang on one second. That's a really tough place to be. And to me, it sounds like there's a lot of expectation that you have for yourself. And so I think maybe the portrait bootcamp may not necessarily be what you need. I'm working on another resource that I think would be more helpful, but obviously it's not out yet. But getting to an understanding about what it is that you feel you have to be doing it a certain way for? And also, is that the way that you want to be doing it? And what if you, if you were to, and this is more of like a shadow question, but if you were to expect that for the rest of your days, you would just make bad art, okay? This is just shadow question, not necessarily true. Would you be okay with that? And would you still make art? I think this is an important question to ask yourself because I think there's something about the expectation that doesn't feel good that isn't allowing you to show up. Like you're expecting a certain outcome and then it's not getting there, so you don't want to draw. But if you expected that it was going to be bad and you were okay with that, would you show up to draw? How would you feel about that? Hi, Elizabeth. How are you doing? Hex, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Thank you. Just got to open camp in Japan Art School. That's awesome, KTS. Sometimes explaining helps us to incorporate the information as well. When I helped out some friends by giving them gesture exercises before anatomy, I also internalized some theory I didn't access yet. Yeah, that is something that's come from teaching that, I mean, I never expected, is that it's shown me where my strengths are, but also where my gaps are. And then I think teaching it forces me to really clarify it for myself. So it's been interesting. I mean, I love teaching. I've been teaching privately for 5, almost 5. Has it been almost 5 years? My goodness. I love when you can peel the acrylic paint off. Oh my God, there's something so satisfying about that. Oh, that might be too much. Did I just use too much? I think I did. I think when it comes to like if you're stuck in anything in art, I think the number one thing to do instead of trying to like brute force the art is figure out where it comes from. And this is something that I do with my students in my mentorship is I figure out where they're at, what's making them feel stuck. And sometimes it's a little harder for us to like figure out for ourselves. So I think that's where like mentorship really helps. Um, but I think it's important to do that reflection first. Otherwise, I think it's really easy to like hammer at the wrong thing. And so many art teachers are like, oh, we'll just draw more. But it's like, I don't think that that's the solution for a lot of people. Oh, that's too much paint. Oops. Hi, Siren. How you doing? Oh, I have some of the paint. Did you use this Liquitex stuff? Too much paint. I'm gonna clean up some of those edges, but I gotta get a smaller brush. Dinner and comic art. Nice shapes and colors. Thank you. Is there a traditional art medium you guys can never make it click? No, Ed, for me, for years, it was watercolor. I still feel like I wrestle with watercolor, but now it's kind of like this intriguing medium that's like there's something the medium's trying to teach me because you really have to let go of control, I think. And so now I'm really intrigued by it. I just haven't had the opportunity to play with it much. I think I'm trying too hard. I'm considering doing a doodle journal rather than illustration so I don't take it too seriously just to gain the habit back. Kodahimi, I think that's a fantastic idea. And I will say that's what I did with my abstract work. And it started as a a sketchbook where I was like, I'm not going to show anybody. I'm not going to post it on social media. I'm not going to monetize it. Um, and I had this fourth rule that I think might be agonizing for some people, but it really helped me get clear in my mind. The fourth rule was that I cannot watch TV or podcasts or listen to music while I made the art in that specific journal. And I had a reason for this. So the reason was I think that during the creation process, our brain, when it's not like distracted by something, is pretty active. Like it's processing emotions, it's processing thoughts. And I think in those moments, it's really important to listen to those thoughts. But the problem is, I think a lot of creative people throw on a TV show or throw on a podcast and they don't think while they do it. And I actually think that that processing time is really valuable, especially if you are someone who's having a hard time with your creativity. So that was kind of like my fourth rule. Um, and that helped me really work through a lot of stuff. It helped me with reflection. It helped me, listen to my intuition. It helped me figure out what I wanted from my art. But it is hard. It is hard because you're going to run into a lot of thoughts that might not be super positive, but those thoughts are kind of indicating what's going on for you internally. And sometimes they just need a reframe. Sometimes they're beliefs that really, like, they might not even be yours. It's likely that they are internalized from someone else or things that we've seen on social media. I think social media is really insidious in that it instills these ideas that might not necessarily be our own. Have you done a commission for a client that you ended up not liking due to mistakes that you noticed, but they liked it? Could you say something about the disconnect between how the artist and client sees it? Oh, this is a really good question. I had this conversation with a student recently as well. So I think there's a couple ways, like for me, when I think of this, it's less about the mistakes that we make, but more about sometimes the client will have a vision that doesn't necessarily resonate with you. And you have two choices there. You can do it anyway, or you can decide, it's not for me. I think if you're going to go the route of like, the client has a vision that like might not resonate with you, I think it's important that you know that what you're doing is in service to the client and that whether or not you like it isn't always an indication that it's good or bad. Like if the client likes it, then you've done your job, right? Now when it comes to making mistakes and then like noticing that you've made mistakes and yet the client still likes it, to me, again, you still delivered. Like you gave them what they asked for, they liked it. I think seeing the mistakes and feeling like, you know, I don't know if you're worrying like, oh, did they not like it and they're not saying something or what you're worried about there. But if they're not saying, like, it's up to the client to let you know if something doesn't work out. So if they're not saying something, then in my mind, I'm like, they're happy. They have to be because I can't spend my time worrying about whether or not they liked it. Um, to me, it's up to them to tell me whether or not there's a problem. That's that's something that's completely out of my control, and I think as an artist doing work, um, you also have to. I mean, I think whether you're an artist or anything else, I think it's really important to let go of the things that you can't control. Like it's not up to you to figure out if they're happy. It's just up to you to give them what they ask for. One of my best hurdle jumps has been to be okay with stumbling and making mistakes in private. Jelly ink pen and paper is good for that because I can physically remove it if it trips me up, and jelly ink is just enjoyable to physically use. Yeah, and you know what? I think it's important to know that you don't have to show everything that you make. It's completely fine for you to do something behind the scenes and not post it on social media. But I think there's so much pressure to like keep up that there's this idea that everything you make has to be social media worthy, and that's a really heavy expectation for your creativity. It gets in the way of experimenting. It gets in the way of, you just having your moment to relax with the art. And it also means that you're less likely to make those mistakes, which can also be paralyzing when it comes time to sit down and just make the art, because you're worried it might not be what it needs to be for the presentation. But not every piece needs to be a performance, and I think there needs to be a healthy balance of, you know, I'm working on something that I enjoy, but it doesn't need to meet that expectation. I got to get my smaller brush. Ah, we got this. We got this. One brush, let's go. Yeah, and coding me, the hard part there is like, then you get into this vicious cycle of you need to make stuff for social media, and then everything feels like it needs to look a certain way, and then you end up making nothing, and then it's like two things have happened where it's like you don't get to enjoy your creativity and you don't have anything to present, even when that was the main goal in the first place. And that's a moment where, like, I think it's important to ask yourself, is this mindset helping me? Because when we look at it that way, it definitely isn't. Like, it's getting in the way of you doing the thing that you set out to do, but like your mind is kind of playing games and playing tricks where it's like, in actuality, if you just made anything, then you'd have way more work to potentially show than if you tried to meet this expectation and then weren't able to make anything because of it. Hi, Wizarks. How are you? Enjoying seeing you live so much recently. Miss your energy so much. Oh, I'm so glad. It's been really fun to be back. I miss you all too. It makes me really happy to kind of, navigate like this own my own block, to get back here, and not just with art, but I think it bled a lot into how I felt about streaming too, because I also had those expectations on myself, and I also wasn't allowing myself to experiment or play or have fun. The play was so important. I needed more like fun, just fun. And again, not to say that like my portrait work isn't fun, but because I'd been so rigid in my expectation, it was like I wasn't allowing myself to do things that I thought were interesting. So I'm just working on some abstract stuff. This is a series that I started on stream and sometime last weekend, and we've just been moving through it. Chat decided on the colors and the shapes, and I've been doing the abstract drawing on top of it. Something about painting, I mean, drawing definitely does this too, but something about painting just like really quiets my mind. Specifically traditional painting. I cannot explain it, but it is like you can probably tell just like how quiet I get. That's my brain just kind of like could also be because I'm slightly more focused because going along the edges with a brush requires a lot more precision than I feel it needs with the pen. And I'm not as practiced with the brush in this sense because I've always been painting digitally. I feel like I might regret this, but probably not. I'm just gonna fill this in. This is just calling to me to fill it in completely. Not used to quiet still? Remember those crazy birthday balloon streams? Yeah, back in the day, man. So the thing is, I still have that level of energy, but I'm much more particular about when and where I spend it. I think like I I spent a lot of energy on stream. I think there was like some like nervousness in it too, where like I spent a lot of energy on stream and then after stream I would just be like totally dead. Um and of course it was fun, but yeah, I've definitely toned things back. Um I haven't smeared anything. Wild times. And the googly glasses, yeah, I have them in the closet, I think. I just haven't really taken them out. All right, we're almost done with this one. I can feel it. I'm looking at the time because I've got a mentorship meeting coming up soon. But I got time. I got time. By the way, if you guys are interested in mentorship, there's a good chance, and this only happens a couple times a year, but there's a good chance that I may be opening slots soon. I have an email waitlist if you guys are interested. I don't have an exact day or how many slots, but I want to keep you guys in the know in case you're curious about it. You can find the details at exclamation point if you type exclamation point mentor in the Twitch chat. Oh, I think I used too much. Well, that's okay. To my mind, congrats on the fig. What are you talking about? Am I missing something? Am I being a derp right now? Oh, the figure. The figure. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, when you said fig, the first place my mind went was the fruit. Um, it makes sense because I have a fig tree on my balcony. It's a dwarf fig, not a full size fig. But yeah, so my mind was like fig. I was like, "Are you talking about my tree?" Then I was like, "Wizards, how do you know about my tree?" Now it makes sense. The figurine. Speaking of, if you guys are curious about her, this is the figurine that I recently launched. Her name is Dayanora. If you guys want to check her out, LS just dropped a link in the chat. She was released yesterday, and so our pre-order is running for about a month. There's only 100, and we will definitely be selling out. So if you guys are interested, I would say snag yours as soon as possible. There's also unpainted figurines if you guys are miniature painters or you just want to take a stab at creating your own version of her. You can also get those as well. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's the first, so it's a figurine based on this illustration. So as you can see, twinsies. Um, and we've been putting her together like in the works for the past year or so. So you can imagine that releasing her was a pretty exciting moment. Really had to like wait on that one. There's a lot to iron out, but I'm really happy with the end result. I really love how she looks. It's so cool having her on the shelf. And she also comes with a print as well. So it's her alongside the print. So you get kind of like this little collectible bundle. But yeah, check her out if you guys are interested. And then I think, because I've got a meeting coming up and I probably need some time for lunch, I'm going to go ahead and raid somebody now. Who is live? Let's find out. Oh, Cotton is on. Let's go see Cotton. All right, so I'm going to send you guys off to Cotton Wings and make sure you show lots of love. I will see you guys again tomorrow morning. It seems like starting at 9 a.m. Eastern is a really good time for me, so that's likely when I'm going to start. But if you guys want any updates in case, my schedule does get a little bit more sporadic, I would definitely recommend checking out the Discord. You can share your art over there and stuff to connect with the community. But that's mainly where I'll be posting my updates. But yeah, I had a really great stream today, and I will see you guys again tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Bye, Scorcher. I see you. All right. Bye-bye, guys.